It's LV Europa. Whatever you do, make sure you do it in the toughest environment. Mac double. That's the only way we grow. Yo, roll call for them tough niggas who act inspiring. You can't hit the stage with my vets if you don't meet requirements. Heard you did all that work from the fifth to the first when I birthed your retirement. You hanging it up and it's still not enough in the toughest environment. Toughest environment, niggas will spit till they vomiting. Toughest environment, niggas will bring the piranhas in. Toughest environment, better be talking to scholarship. Toughest environment. Who the toughest, who the strongest, who the smartest? Hitting the stage, PowerPoint, and I'm going through papers regardless. Listen up, got a point to prove, but I'm moving on, cause you niggas retarded. Toughest environment, only up make you a target. You don't want that smoke, shit your body last week, run down on the whole Christina class with the pie. Oh my gosh, I think you the GOAT, no rigmarole. Still take total control, just put my shit at the top of the post. For toughest environment. Listen, just get it, I'm still about to bend it. I work every minute and maybe I'm on with Chris and his thoughts, and I thought you should know that this ain't a scrimmage. And I'm shaping you right, molding you tight to be in the image of toughest environment. Yo, roll call for them tough niggas who act inspiring. You can't hit the stage with my vets if you don't meet requirements. Heard you did all that work from the fifth to the first when I birthed your retirement. You hanging it up and it's still not enough in the toughest environment. Toughest environment, niggas will spit till they vomiting. Toughest environment, niggas will bring the piranhas in. Toughest environment, better be talking to scholarship. Toughest environment. I'm sure we can work this out, just get in the ring. You better be Zion Alexa, this vessel, divine prospect when he doing his thing. Or Captain Tazari, out there, cross that line, I get away clean. Or Ali Muhammad, so valid, still got me up on my dean. All of it brought together because of the studio. Stop acting like y'all could have been doing that cause you didn't do it though. And I watched them lions get ran out of the den, this shit'll get crucial. Who you know will take the whole damn stage and turn that shit to a musical. Stay in your cubicle. The environment's tough, don't wire me up, I'm calling your bluff. I'm running it back and I'm running it back like it's never enough. Got them diamonds in the rough, and we can't get to every treasure, but you gotta help me dig it up. But to me it's like whatever. Yo, roll call for them tough niggas who act inspiring. You can't hit the stage with my vets if you don't meet requirements. Heard you did all that work from the fifth to the first when I birthed your retirement. You hanging it up and it's still not enough in the toughest environment. Toughest environment, niggas will spit till they vomiting. Toughest environment, niggas will bring the piranhas in. Toughest environment, better be talking to scholarship. Toughest environment.
Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Hotep, namaste, jambo, ashe, shalom, shalom. All the greetings of love and light to the darkest minds of the light. I am Napashada, and we are on the House of Consciousness platform. Hit the like, hit the link, hit the like, share the link, get it out there. We have a great presentation coming up. I know it's late for you on the East Coast, some of you, but you know, a lot of you stay up for the good stuff. And this is one of these moments. We have Timotheus, the deist, coming in to do a presentation on God, which is, we're not unfamiliar with presentations on God in this particular forum, but he's going to show us some information that I have actually touched on before. You know, I'm on my indigenous black man right now. No, I'm just kidding. Shout out to indigenous black man. A very interesting topic about God as light. And I think you're going to relate to some scientific stuff like electromagnetism, but I don't know. So that's why we have him here to let us know. Peace to you, Timotheus. Thank you so much for being with us. You can unmute your mic and introduce yourself to the audience.
Hello, everyone. I'm Timotheus, the deist, the meanest deist, for those that know me in the back chat. And I'm, representing with Miss Ivory and Naga World Order, just coming out here to share my perspective as a deist. I don't know how many deists are actually in the community. So maybe I'm bringing a perspective that isn't, I'm saying maybe because I don't know. I'm bringing a perspective that's unfamiliar because, but that's just my assumption.
Okay, sounds great. Peace, yes, to Ivory Scales. and the info warriors, aka infomongers, out there in Facebook, these back alleys busting heads open. When it comes to information, not literally fighting, but talking about intellect and debate style and skill. So, what I'm going to do is first off, let me change this background so I don't distract people. When you are ready to share your PowerPoint, do so, and we will get this presentation going. I'm very much interested. Now, at the end, you're open to taking questions, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
great.
Let me see if I can figure out share screen.
All right. There we are.
Alrighty. Oh my God, to close there. I don't know how to make it bigger.
That's fine. If everyone can see this, right, everyone? I got it. I can see it. Peace to everybody in the chat showing us love, showing me love. Peace to you. So we can see it. Great.
All right.
Great. So let's get into this.
All right. So God is like the deist understanding. In my PowerPoint, I go over what is a deist. Is this something that I should cover, or are we all familiar with what a deist is? And
yeah, no, please go ahead and cover everything. Even if you think people know about it, it's good to just be thorough.
Okay. So yeah, what a deist is to summarize, is just an individual who does believe in a supreme being, God, if you will, who created the universe, but yet does not intervene with the daily creation or the humans or in the creation. The non-intervention creator is what defines deism versus theism, whereas theists believe they can pray and God will answer their prayers, where deists, we understand that everything that we need was created already, and it's just up to us to tap into it and make it happen and to execute it. Let me see. This is, hang on. I'm sorry, my kids.
It's okay. You're fine. Children are a part of our lives, hopefully for those out there who like children. It's okay.
All right.
Go ahead.
I apologize. So deists generally deny that God communicates through miracles, prophecy, divinity, inspired scriptures, Bible, anything religious, dogma, and we don't subscribe to any of that, because really all religion for us is just an expression of what we understand is creation. It's everything that we need is already in the design of creation. The skepticism of religious dogma I pretty much just covered, that we reject traditional religious mysteries, rituals, the authority of the church, which is often viewed as corruption of a simpler, pure, more rational origin of religion. All right. Now, the perspective of God is like, through the deist eyes, would be charge. God is charge. And why charge above light? And this is why. Charge is the fundamental formation of physical reality. The electromagnetic force is driven by charge and is responsible for all structure, stability, and complexity in the observable universe outside of the nucleus of an atom. Charge is the essential for the very existence of atoms. Atoms are the building blocks of physical matter we experience. It binds the atoms together. The attraction between positive and negatively charged particles come together and create the nuclei of atoms. Charge is the sole basis of all chemistry. Without charge, I'm sorry, I feel like my kids are just so loud.
Your kids aren't loud. We hear you. If you just make sure you're close to your mic, I know you have children. We understand. And so you're fine. Just as long as we can hear you clearly, we know you have a family in the background or whatever your life is.
Right. So, I appreciate
as long as we don't hear like fighting and people breaking bottles.
I very much appreciate that. Thank you. So
you're great. You know what? I can even turn your mic up. Just keep going. I'll turn your mic up. Keep going.
Okay. because if I turn mine up here, the background noise gets louder.
Don't
So
worry about it. I got
charges, the basis is the sole basis of all chemistry. Through chemical bonds like covalent bonds, ionic bonds, metallic bonds, they're manifestations of the electromagnetic force acting between charged particles. And this is how we get a oxygen and a hydrogen come together. You get two oxygen, H2O, two hydrogen, one oxygen to this bond, we get water. And that's done through the power of charge. And biology, the same thing. Our DNA, all the proteins, our neural system, our nervous systems, and everything is governed by charge and electrical synapsi in the body. All right. Now, the concept of God is like explained through the deist perspective. This is where we find the attributes that I'll get to later. So the photon is an elementary particle of or quantum of the electromagnetic radiation, including visible light, radio waves, X-rays, gamma rays. The photon is classified as a gauge boson that has no charge and carries the electromagnetic force itself, which means its role is to mediate the fundamental force. So to personify, it wields the electromagnetic force. It is the fundamental force that carries the electromagnetic force and inhibits both wave and particle characteristics. If I were to if I were to personify it, I would say that the photon itself wields the electromagnetic force, and it fashioned all of reality and existence as we understand. So the photons have the attributes of God that people tend to have religious pushback on this idea. So shared attributes of God and that the photons share. Photons permeate the entire universe, meaning they influence all the interactions across all of space. The divine being is often defined as omnipresent, and photons are omnipresent. They permeate all of the universe. Even right now, they're passing through us right now. They immateriality or transcendence. Photons are pure energies with no rest mass, meaning they are not composed of matter. A common attribute of God is that God is immaterial, existing outside and transcending the physical form and physical reality. The prime mover or sustainer. Photons mediate the electromagnetic force, which is responsible for all of chemistry, all of atomic binding, all of light, electromagnetic radiation. It is fundamental agent of nearly all of the observable interactions or things we interact with the physical world. This microphone, everything's all done with electromagnetism. God is often viewed as the sustainer and the active force created that maintains everything created within the universe. Okay. Let's continue. The attributes: immutability and consistency. Photons are a distinct energy that is fixed by its frequency. This reflects an absolute unchanging law. The divine beings are often characterized as immutable, unchanging, never changing, everlasting. And this is perfect consistency in the laws of their nature of how gods are portrayed. And then being eternal, unceasing activity. Photons are essentially immune to decay. They do not decay. It's okay. I got it. They are immune to decay and the passage from existence to non-existence, making them the immortal particle. God is often viewed as an immortal being outside of time. Omniscient, all-knowing. Photons carry the signature and history of every event of creation, from the creation of a star to the folding of the proteins in our body. These elements all emit or reflect photons. They are the means by which the information about these Events can be transmitted, meaning by capturing these photons using various instruments like telescopes, cameras, and specialized sensors, scientists are able to analyze the properties, the wavelengths, the energy, polarization or direction of these things, and infer information about these events. This mirrors the idea of God having total access to all information, being all knowing. These attributes are tangible evidence that give credence to the idea of a creator or God. With anything new, it also has brought forth its fair share of skepticism, much like in the past, introducing scientific explanations of what is deemed to be defined by people have yielded pushback from the believers of the deities that were effectively made myth by science. And here are some examples of deities of the past that have been made myth by our understanding of science. Thor and Zeus and lightning, Poseidon with the oceans and the storms, Borealis with the wind, the blowing of the wind, and Vulcan with being the volcanoes. Scientific fields such as meteorology and plate tectonics have completely explained these events for us and made these gods into myths. And I'm sure that during this time, the scientists were called heretics and hung and burned at the stake and all of that for saying that these gods are just natural events. These examples, or just what I just said right now, these examples making it a completely understandable as to why people would push back against the God is light, light is an electromagnetic force from religious communities. Yet me as a deist, it only confirms my belief that there is a creator that does not intervene directly with creation exactly. This is where both theists and atheists alike will take issue with my stance as a deist. The atheist would say, just because the scientific consensus says so and so, that doesn't change the fact that it doesn't make it a God, the God of the gaps fallacy, basically. And same with the theist. The theist will basically say, well, what you're talking about is God, because the God is the creator of everything, and you're talking about the creator of everything. So that is God. It's the God of the gaps fallacy. So in conclusion, from my deist perspective, that does not take away from any religion or faith or anything like that. It's not an attack on anyone's, but what it does is it gives me tangible evidence of the attributes of the religious deities existing in actual reality. And yeah.
Alan, you don't have all the Zoe skins, so I called dibs on it. Oh, you have to be Zoe. All right, Alan, put Bonnie in the subscription, and then you can be right now.
Okay, is that you good? Are we ready?
Yeah, that's it. It's short and simple. It's not a
Okay.
It isn't very complicated at all. So if you have any questions, I'm ready to be drilled.
Oh, all right. Well, first of all, great presentation.
Thank you.
I would like to get a little deeper. Let me drop the link, not just for me to ask questions, but anyone who would like to come in and ask questions about this presentation. It's very fresh for me because, again, like I said, I've done a presentation before about God being light, and I appreciate how you show your philosophical stance as a deist and also talk scientifically. So I'd like to start from the beginning where you speak about photons. We can start talking about subatomic particles. And when I say subatomic particles, I know you have some information. Obviously, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you've done research on it. So
yeah, in no way am I a physicist. So let's just make that clear.
I got you. And you know what? We can still discuss these topics and not be a physicist. So we hear you. Thank you for saying that. You're very humble. But let me find out, like, hearing you say you're a deist, and not when I think of light and I think of photons, I instantly think of how photons don't interact in the Higgs boson field, in the Higgs field, I should say. They don't interact. So that, for me, I'm giving you like a springboard on your deism philosophy, how God is outside after like creation, not interacting. Do you see a similarity with that as far as photons in that aspect about the Higgs field? How they don't even interact in the Higgs field? If you're not familiar with the Higgs field,
Yeah, I was gonna say that the Higgs field, I'm not all the way into,
okay, that's fine.
like, because
Basically,
basically the way it was presented in this is the photon is personified in my
okay,
presentation. It's
right.
personified. That's why I said these are the attributes that God has that the photon just so happens to share. But the true power in all of it was where I started, was charge, because without charge there is no motion. Without the positive and negative charge to attract these particles together, we have no reality. So
Okay,
so
so if we let's yeah.
as a deist that believes there is a creator, this is evidence of this creation that put everything else in motion.
So when we talk about the positive and negative charge, would you be able to correlate that to the idea of evil and good?
No,
Oh no.
no.
Okay, well, I would. Why not? Because wouldn't you say God is also when you conceptualize a God in this interaction in this material world, don't we also struggle or try to balance evil and good?
No,
No?
not in the deist world, because good and evil are just man's interpretations of events that we feel to be positive or negative. But in the
Right.
perspective of nature, death is a part of life. People would think death is bad. Death is a negative, but no, death is a part of life. Uh, it's just a balance. You can't balance the scales unless you have both things there. So that it isn't good or evil as man would define it. It's just nature being nature. It's just
So
existence
you
being
do it, but then
existence.
so you do
You
agree. You
can't
do
have
agree that
you
there's
can't
good.
have creation without destruction, and then from
Okay.
destruction comes creation.
Yeah. So would you say again, you agree it doesn't have to be evil and good. You see that there's a balance when
Yeah,
you think
I
of
would
that.
agree with the term balance.
Okay, balance. Got it. There's some questions. If you'd like to come in and ask a question, here is the link. If you want to hit the panel, I know it's late and people don't want to be having their camera on, but at least if you're in the backstage, before I put you on the panel, please show yourself, and then I will let you up on the chain on the panel. But I'm gonna go ahead and take some of the questions right now. Lioness Perp, peace to you. She says, you kind of answered it from your perspective. She says, does good and evil really exist? I fully agree that evil is relative and good is relative. So I appreciate you mentioning that. When I'm saying the perspective of negative and a positive charge, I'm talking actually in a lot of the religions, Abrahamic faith ones especially, the negative and positive are considered evil and good. So I can see where, yes, you're right. Definitely, death isn't evil, and evil is what I say always contextual or relative. Did you want to? Did you want to add a little? Well, you already addressed this, but Lioness
Well, I just
Per
use
asked
death.
you.
I just use death as an example, as one example. You know, like as a human being that lives in this existence that has emotions and feelings and things like that, when there is a tragedy like a storm or something, and people perish, I feel sad. I
Mhm.
feel terrible for those people, but I wouldn't say that that's an evil act. Like some people would make the argument, this is proof that God doesn't exist, because why would God let all of these innocent children die and all that? But I don't subscribe to that. I just see it as it's just life. This is
Mm,
just a part. It's just a part of the design. It's just a part of the grand design.
right. What about just to pick your brain a little bit? What about like when there's abuse and injustice? What do you call that? A part of life or
It's a part of life. Everything in creation is perfect. There is no chaos, and all of these things are just our interpretations based on how we decide to define them. The same way that there's good people, quote unquote good people, there has to be bad people too in order for there to be balance. So yes, we would see that as injustice, we would see that as horrible, but it's just a part of the design.
So there is injustice, though.
Yeah, in our context, yes, and in our society, the way we interact, yes, there is injustice.
So if it's injustice, would that be imbalance?
No, because we see it as imbalance because we deem it to be bad when it's just existence.
Okay. So in science, when we're talking about like photons and even getting, I know light is the topic, so I'm not getting away from it. But when we just
No,
look at
you're
the
fine. You're fine. Ask anything you want.
okay, great. When we talk about charges, electrons, when we talk about protons, basically subatomic particles, things don't work if there's not an actual balance, right? Within the atom. So when I say don't work, I mean we know how to do a lot of things with the atom that we didn't know maybe 1,000 years ago. So let's talk about that. Like, let's talk about the atomic bomb, right? That scientific where they can go in, they found out how to actually split the atom. You know, it has a reaction, which you're saying none of that is, of course, evil, but the reaction that is destructive.
I have 100.
Would you say that the destruction is something that is necessary and part of our existence, even if it's something that's destroying destroying existence?
Well, it wouldn't destroy existence. It would just destroy the existence of us that are tampering with it, because destruction is a part of creation. When a star supernovas, there is a huge explosion that's thousands and thousands of times what an atom bomb is, and from that we get heavier particles that then come together and coalesce, make another star, and then the dust around there coalesce, makes a planet, and so on and so forth. Millions of years go by, and boom, now you have the birth of a solar system. So when it comes to the atom bomb, that destruction is us destroying ourselves, but it isn't the destruction of reality, because reality will still go on. Even if the earth explodes, sun's still going to burn, the other planets are going to still rock, asteroid belt's going to still do it. Existence isn't going to stop because humans disappear. It just means our existence as we know it will no longer exist, but existence itself would not disappear.
Yes, and that is that's a very profound philosophy. It's very selfless, because usually when people form a concept of God and a concept of how to, something existential, like this is how I exist, usually it's centered around their survival, right? So with that understanding that you put out there, it's not human centered, or should I say creation centered. It's not so much you centered. Let me put it that way. It's not centered around the believer. It's more of a open, universal, like dynamic displacement. I'm throwing words out there. Basically, it's not what usually people think of, because when they think of God, the first thing they're doing is trying to find a way to understand how they exist, right? And then they also want to understand, how can I continue to exist?
No, I think we should just play.
So, with what you're saying, do you share this philosophy with others, or because it's not centered on you and your survival.
Both of our moms are
You're saying
Well,
if we're
ours,
destroyed, oh well, it's like,
yeah,
right?
the reality still goes on. There's, like I said, the rest of the solar system, the universe, the galaxy, everything will still go on. If right now the scientists are concerned about an asteroid that they've named Apophis, and they feel like Apophis could be mankind's way of the dinosaur. Now whether or not people want to believe that or not, hey, but if that does happen, and if that does happen, and let's just say that the way of the dinosaur happened before, where we come after the dinosaurs, then reality wasn't destroyed, it just was changed. And that even still isn't even an accident, because these asteroids or whatever that are in space are not just aimlessly hurling. Scientists have used space-based telescopes to see that all of these asteroids are on their own individual elliptical orbit. So whereas when we look at the asteroid belt and we see things crashing into each other and we think it's chaos, when they actually do the math, those collisions were all a part of those orbits. So they'll pass each other for however many years, and then eventually they're gonna. So it isn't chaos. There is order.
Yes, I see what you're saying. I agree with that we may be in a position where we see it as chaos, but there's so many different aspects. So how long have you been practicing deism? Or did you mention that you were once Christian?
Yeah, I was born into religion like mostly everyone on earth is. I had very interesting upbringing. My father was a Baptist Mason and my mother was a Jehovah's Witness. So yeah,
Wow.
I had a very interesting upbringing. I played piano in church for years and years and years. In 2014 or 15, I met a brother at a job that I worked at the time who was raised under Yahweh ben Yahweh. Like his father was a follower of Yahweh ben Yahweh, and then I'm therefore meeting his son, who was completely raised under the teachings of Yahweh ben Yahweh, and he introduced me to the tetrad, which I was unfamiliar with, because most people that go to church just go to church because they're supposed to. They don't actually study or listen. And it was compelling that during the tetrad, that I can't remember the scripture, forgive me, but it was I'm paraphrasing, it was something along the lines of during the 4 blood moons that the people of God would awaken. And consequently, 2014, 15 was the awakening where you started to see a lot of people, outside of the community that were already there, but you started to see a bunch more people resonating with Kemet science, Hebrew Israelite, Moorish temple, Aboriginal ideologies. And to me, at that time, it was compelling, and it kind of geared me into funneling down the Hebrew Israelite road until it was the camp. I'm not saying all Hebrew Israelites. I'm saying the camp that I was associated with told me that I should not read any other books and that everything I needed was going to be in the Bible, and that didn't sit right with me at all. And so I did the opposite, and I went and read more books. I started reading about other religions and things like that, and I start seeing all of these connections that all of these different religions had, and how these connections were in the scope of religion, or the world of religion, if you will, wasn't the focus. People weren't starting wars about saying, well, my God says we should be good to people, we should feed children, feed hungry people, love each other like brothers. They weren't starting wars over that. They were starting wars because God's name is blah, and you're saying God's name is not that, and so we're going to start a war for that. So, and that just turned me off to religion altogether. And I'm gonna just use the word, being indoctrinated with a creator faith that just never left. And so I believe there is absolutely a creator, that everything that exists is a part of a design, and what put it in motion, I can't tell you what it is or what it's called or the name of it is, but I do see the attributes of it in charge in physics.
And so interesting. He said some interesting things. I don't want to interrupt you, but so you've gone through your spiritual journey, and now you're here as a deist. Did you ever stop to think possibly that there wasn't? Did you ever lean toward the atheism? Like, did you ever consider that? No.
No.
Is that because of indoctrination?
Yeah, that's why I use the word indoctrination. And by looking at the physics, how I see this perfect mathematical equation that that's just, it's perfect to the point to where there are some people that would, you know, speak disparaging of things like evolution, right? But in my understanding, evolution is not out of the realm or power of the creator.
Okay.
Why place a limitation on the creator? The creator, if something is a part of the design, it was a part of the design. You know, we as human beings have this arrogance, if you will, about ourselves. Like, I'm a person that believes that human beings are animals. I have conversations with people that say, no, we are not animals. We don't do what animals do, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, we exist in this ecosystem just like they do. We drink water like they drink water. We mate the same way. We give birth the same way. Yes, we have a higher level of intelligence, and we are the only animal that is on this planet that actually destroys the planet. but that does not make us not an animal, because we exist, we live and breathe and exist in this ecosystem right alongside all of them. We can eat them, and if you get caught by a bear, he's gonna eat you.
He might take a couple nibbles off of you. No, but that's true. I believe that as well. So you don't believe, you look at the science and you agree that we are primates, right?
And the primate is just a classification of animal.
Right. Okay, I really respect that. So are you a debater?
No, I don't get it.
I can tell you don't have that debate vibe.
No,
you have
I
more
don't
like
get
it is what it is.
right.
So,
Yeah. That's how I feel about the scripture, I am that I am. That's how that translates to me is, hey, like, who are you? What are you? Look, I am what I am, homie. It is what it is. Don't worry about it. Just
so you still do look at the scriptures.
Well, I was raised in the scriptures. I have a bunch of Bibles over here on my bookshelf, from the Septuagint. I need the Septuagint, but I have the Sefer, bunch of different Bibles, the Tanakh. Like I said, I was in Hebrew Israelite for a few years. So
wow.
All right, so I don't see.
That was interesting. What camp were you following?
I wasn't part of a camp. This one wasn't part of a camp. It's the like I said, the individual that introduced me to it was raised by a father. His father was a follower of Yahweh ben Yahweh, so he was raised right. So he was raised under Yahweh ben Yahweh. And you're saying yikes, but some of the stuff that he said was made some sense. Like, you know, that the Hebrews need to come together with all the knowledge of every kingdom and rise up against Pharaoh. That goes against what some of the other individuals were telling me, like, no, you only need to read this one book. The Bible got everything you need. Where on their side, they're saying, hey, no, you get the wisdom of all nations and use that to combat Pharaoh. So it's just different perspectives. And I have a Circle 7 Quran, Drew Ali, you know, as I just and that's what I was saying earlier. Right. And that's what I was saying earlier, is that what I noticed in all of this is that no one is practicing the teachings. They are arguing whatever the deity. No, this is God. No, this is God. No, this is God. No, this is God. Well, what does God teach you? Does God teach you to fuss and argue and fight? Or are you supposed to love each other like brothers and come together and be a community and raise chickens and make sure that your children and your grandchildren and your great grandchildren prosper?
When they raise, can they raise pigs too? Since you don't believe in the Torah.
They can eat whatever they want to eat. If it sustains their life, then they can eat it.
Wow. Okay. So when you say that, yeah, I wanted to. This is a good segue, kind of, or I'm going to elaborate on what you pick your brain a little bit more on this.
Yeah,
What
I'm
about a
open
set
book.
of rules and guidelines? How do you determine that as when you take your position, when they come to you and say, well, we need these rules. Everybody can't have their own rules. What do you say about that?
Well, rules and guidelines they're kind of universal to some degree. The atheists would call it moral humanity. That's what the atheists call it. And it's the idea that since I don't want you to kill my wife and children, I won't kill your wife and children. So
what if you don't have a wife and children and the other person does?
Well, my mother or my brother or my sister or whomever that I find dear. Since I don't want you to take the life of whom I cherish out of common courtesy, so to speak, I won't do the same to you, which is why you can find villages of so-called uncontacted people thriving because they have an understanding of we're not just going to kill each other because we're wild savages. And there is an underlining innate morality, even though I personally believe morality is taught. But I do think that there is a small innate humanity of, we have an understanding that you're alive, I'm alive. I don't want to die. You don't want to die. So I'm not going to kill you. And I hope you don't kill me. But as far as like rules go, we got to follow. There's rules. Rules are a part of nature. Everything follows rules. Even animal. That's nature. Fight or flight. That's nature. That's automatic.
Yeah.
That's automatic.
So if you're thinking something like you're saying we're animals and natural and how we eat, a bear isn't gonna say, "Oh, this is somebody's daddy. I ain't gonna eat him." He's gonna just eat the person because that's an animal instinct. So.
But that's usually attached to fight or flight. When it comes to the bear example, that's usually attached to fight or flight. If the bear feels threatened, if you've encroached in its territory, things like that, because territory is an innate rule that it has. It'll take a leak over here, It's marking its territory. So even in that world, they have a rule that says for other animals, hey, don't come over here. We don't have the sense of smell and things that animals have to recognize, and we don't deal with bears to even have that even understanding if we do smell it to say, hey, this is bear urine and we should stay away. But there's still the rules even in nature.
Okay, so the rules of nature, the bear, it's like, it's not evil for a bear to eat a person, right?
No.
If they're hungry, that's not evil. So that's the rules. If you're in the wilderness and it's animal and animal, the bear is the more ferocious and it's survival of the fittest. So when we as complex conscious beings, my position is that there's consciousness even with plants. So our consciousness is more refined or I'll say complex because of how we interact with each other as humans. So as humans, we have trained ourselves to consciously go against our natural selves. And like you, for instance, you're hot. For me, you're on a higher level with your belief in God because you have trained yourself in a sense to say, I'm not the center. And when I said dynamic displacement, you've taken yourself that we've come since the beginning of time, animalistically, we've been just like, it's about us. We got to survive. It's about us. It's about us. So with what I hear from you is you're undoing the programming that we have built up, that complex consciousness, right? About self. So if we say we're animals, which I subscribe to that. However, the distinction, I want to hand this over to you. I want you to answer this and think about it. The distinction of you as an animal between a bear is the rules and what you say morality. And morality is taught. It's not something we just a bear is moral, right? In the woods. So morality is taught.
Yeah.
So what do you do? How do you recognize that there is a specialness or uniqueness as a human being where you have said, I'm going to ignore my basic instinct. I'm going to go against myself, my self-centered survival self, and I'm going to look at it from a different perspective, like a God perspective. So, what is your input on that? All that I said. Do you get where I'm coming
But
from?
no, I agree that I've actually had this conversation many times before with other people that we as human beings are different or special, if you will, however anyone wants to say it, by our level of intelligence. Now, whether or not we are the most intelligent beings on this planet, I don't know. It would be arrogant for me to say that we are, but we absolutely communicate and deal and interact with each other, including ourselves, in a way that's outside of nature, simply because we have the intelligence to do so. We are a species of animal that will starve ourselves, which is going against our nature. The innate, like you said, self-preservation. We'll starve ourselves. We'll starve ourselves because we want to wear a pair of jeans. You see what I'm saying?
We'll starve ourselves for God, though.
But that as well. But I wanted to use something. I wanted to use something that was more trivial, like we'll starve ourselves to wear a pair of jeans, or
right.
Because excuse me. So absolutely, as human beings, we possess a level of intellect that does separate us from many other of the other animals, and that separation is why we deem ourselves, because again, we're having conversations about ourselves with ourselves. We can't talk to the bear, we can't talk to the elephant to see how they see us, or you know what I mean, what they see us as, and we'll never know that. Well, there is the Smithsonian does have an AI that's trying to decode dolphin language. That's something I just learned about recently.
Interesting.
But yeah, we are a unique creature on this planet, and as human beings, we have been trying to understand our own existence, which is why I think religion was created, to try to make sense of something we think doesn't make sense, because our intelligence has progressed to a level to say, well, this can't be for nothing. We can't just be here just because we're here. And I would say, why not? Why not? Why isn't that a part of the plan? How is it not in the plan that everything we've done, all of the progression these devices that we're using, it's all a part of the original design. We because we are a part of it. That's where people lose a lot of people. The same materials that make this up, there's iron in me, there's magnesium, there's metals in us, there's minerals in us. We aren't special. When we die, we turn back to the stuff that's laying on the ground, dust and chemicals. We're just a big bag of chemicals that are animated by electric synapsi that's making all of this stuff move. And guess what? The same things in the bear, same things in the lion. That's how lions run. We're just another biological machine alongside all of these other biological machines.
Interesting. I do appreciate your presentation. It's a fresh thought. It's something outside of what we usually I shouldn't say usually, what we often discuss, which is religion. You're not really discussing religion. You are definitely being philosophical. So I like that a lot. I'd like to bring you back.
Oh, anytime.
And have you maybe come on when it's not so late. People will be watching this video though, and there will be
Oh yeah,
comments.
because it's late in the East
Yeah.
Coast. Yeah. Oh, like late. It's
Yeah, it
8
is.
o'clock.
But
Are
we
you
have a
on
lot
the
of
East
great.
Coast?
I am in the Southwest, but I am in the East Coast sometimes. But I'm in the Southwest right now.
Okay.
So
Well, I
it's not. I'm just
thank you
saying,
for
like,
making
we have
time
a
for me.
great audience.
No, I'm
We
just
have a
saying
great
thank you for
turnout.
making time for me.
No, it's the pleasure is mine because I'm not trying to push too much because a lot of what you're saying I could get behind that. I can. Some of the stuff I'd like to keep on pushing, but I
No,
want this to
feel
be
free.
like not your only. No, I'm gonna take it easy on you today
No,
because you
I'm
and
ready.
I align. No, you're good. Just the thing
No,
about
I
the
want you to
animals.
challenge me, please. I'm begging you.
Don't want you know, not tonight, not tonight. But I
just
will.
one jab. I just so I could be
Well,
just so
look,
I know
I
what I'm
mean,
doing.
it's not really jabs. It's
No,
just that
I'm
I'm
just using
like,
that as an expression. I'm just using that as an expression.
as a deist,
Mhm,
like we know Einstein, he was a deist. As
mhm.
a deist,
You don't have to actually play with me and help me with my build.
don't you have to be more,
Please.
how do you say, don't you have to rely a little bit more on science than what maybe you are talking about science, but don't you have to be more in depthly immersed in science as the science is just the observation of the natural world, right? Don't For me, I'm wondering, like, are you really very, very scientific, or are you just more like dipping your toe in the deism? Okay, this makes sense. Light is in correlation to God. Because okay, I'm gonna say it. For me, deism is light is interacting though. I wasn't gonna say it.
Just don't let it. You got anxiety. Just let it out. Don't stress
I
yourself
don't have
out.
anxiety. Somebody just text me, y'all. Let me tell you how people twist my words.
Uh-oh.
Did I ever say I would starve myself for God? Which I have fasted, and I
No,
will
you
starve
said
myself for spirit.
you
But did
said
I
that
say
some
that
people.
tonight?
No, you didn't say you would. You said there are people that will starve themselves for God. When I gave the example that there are people that'll starve themselves for something as trivial as to fit in a pair of jeans.
Yes, thank you. Now, if I talk about fasting, which is very important, it's not for God essentially. It's fasting is actually for self. You fast so you can have a clearer mind, and I'm talking in a spiritual, metaphysical sense. You can, and even science. There's some science behind that. Where if you fast, there's a lot more going on. But
Your
I don't want
body
to get
goes.
into fasting. But I got to text. He texted me like, I can't believe, you said you gonna fast for God. So he's sleeping, but we're gonna bring you back when he's able to talk to you. Well, he's not sleeping, but he's in bed. But okay. What I was saying is about the deism, when we look at deism, God doesn't interact. It's kind of similar to, I think, Oludumare in the African
Yeah, I'm not gonna do
spirituality. And anyone who knows more about that, you can correct me or support me. God, as a deist, God is just like, I created you, boom, I'm not even interacting. Light interacts with us, but I do agree that light is unique as far as photons, but light interacts with us in everything we do. So even
Light
light,
doesn't interact with us in the concept of how a religious deity would work.
gotcha.
Come in,
Okay.
dear Lord, I'm trying to get this job. Come into the hearts of the interviewers and let them be humble and see the good in me and come into their hearts and have them give me the job. That's not going to happen with light. Light's interacting with you as I'm holding your entire body together. That is this interactions. I'm making you exist, and And I'm open to the idea of like, when people have these talk about telepathy and all of these things like that, that's who's to say that's not within us, because it's a part of the design. There are a lot of instances where you see mute people. There was a case, I can't remember, I have to get the information for someone else, I don't want to misquote it, but like there's mute people that have a language of their own that they do telepathically. That's in us. That's a part of us. The whole notion of spirits and ghosts, that's natural. That's not supernatural. The people that claim to be ghost hunters use electromagnetic readers to find these apparitions. We say it's supernatural only because we don't understand it. But again, electrical synapses is what makes us alive. Every single thought that I'm having is an electrical synapse in my mind. My entire nervous system is electrical.
Yeah, that's fine. But so then it's interacting with us, right? That the only issue I have is the deism.
Right. Well,
I understand what you're saying, but it's interacting with us. It's forming our reality in a sense. When you use the example about, oh God, please give me this job, let these people be, that is like shining a light on something. Let them see what they don't see, and you shine the light and they go, oh, I can see this person is good for the job. So light is interactive. So that's the only thing, if I give you some pushback, would be the deism doesn't, for me, it doesn't go together with God being light, because light is interactive, and it.
But it's in deism, it's the intervention. Deists don't believe that there is a God that intervenes with the creation, right? That intervenes. So light is not going to step in the way and say, you're not going to get hit by this card. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
which people will believe that if I'm walking down the street and then someone just comes and grabs me, oh, that must, and then I never see that person again. That was God. That God put that in that person's heart to come and save me. That the concept of God is light, because I'm not saying that light is God. I'm saying that the attributes of God have been the attributes of light have been personified across many religions.
Yeah.
And it's just so happened by chance, possibly, that now we are in a scientific revolution to where we have all of these different sensors and so on and so forth, that we are able to look at quantum physics and see these attributes. So maybe thousands of years ago, people weren't as primitive as we think they are. Is that our modern arrogance thinking that people were primitive enough to build monoliths that use individual bricks that are hundreds of tons each that we can't do today? Hey, that's just throwing the monkey wrench out there.
Yeah. So I guess maybe it sounds great. I told you I did a presentation on electromagnetism and God.
Is it on this channel? Would I be able to find it in like?
You know what? I might upload it to this channel, but it's actually on another channel. I used to be on another channel, and I did the whole. I'll take it and I'll download it from there and upload it to the to this channel, or to like my channel.
Or you can just send it to me if that's.
I do have a I have a whole PowerPoint on it, but really what I was saying is I didn't do the deism part.
Right. And the deism is just my perspective. Like, right. I will never say, and nor would anyone hear me say, that the perspective you have is incorrect or wrong or anything like that, because that's a part of your journey and your design. What's for me is for me.
Of course.
Right. Hinduism is for them. Christianity is for Christian. It's not my place to say what they believe is wrong and what I believe is right. And that's the problem and the flaw that I see in religion. Because again, for the most part, all the religions teach love each other, love your brother, treat each other like brothers, feed children, be good to be good. But that's not what these debates and all of that stuff be about. It's not about the teachings. It's about me proving that I'm smarter than you. No, you got it wrong, brother. It's this. Nah, that's why I'm not a debater, because I don't see the fruit in debating.
Right. Well, there's a lot of fruit over here. I'll be busting open piñatas. They're filled with all kinds of fruit and candy. So it is very fruitful over here in the HOK because we are about that debate life. So, but I definitely respect and appreciate you as a teacher and somebody who just wants to share. Some people don't like to debate. I did want to ask you, it's F Drake. Well,
No,
Drake.
I'm not active in ghost hunting. I just use that as an example that there is a pseudoscience, if you will, of ghost hunting. And in this pseudoscience of ghost hunting, they use electromagnetic readers, they use thermometers, amongst many other scientific devices to detect apparitions.
Oh yeah, have you heard about those spirit? What are they
Orbs.
called? I did a show on that. The little, you know what we used to do when I was younger, because I do a lot of that stuff with telekinesis and mental telepathy. I get made fun of over here, not by everybody, but
And see, I'm a person that believes that's a part of the human design. There's so much of the brain that we don't even understand that's turned off for whatever reason. Could be the foods we eat. It could be a lot of things.
yeah.
But I believe that that's a part of our design.
Right. So I was going to say, I did a video on they call them spirit monitors or something. But really, when I was younger, we used to be able to go and turn on the TV to a channel. Remember the snow, like it was all like
Fuzzy.
We could do stuff. We could contact whatever or see spirits, and then also on the radio. I don't know about now, but if you have like actual radios, or I think they're called transistor radios, you can turn the radio to
RF signal radio.
Yeah, radio frequency. And then we're talking about radio frequency, right? Where there's a this is where I keep on coming back to where I can't get on board with the deism, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. Let me leave that alone for a minute. There is definitely with electromagnetism, radiation, all of these different forces that we talk about. There is a phenomenal, dare I say, spiritual door or portal that you can actually get into. Yes, and also yes, white noise, Drathio. Even not to get off what I was saying, that you can go into a port. There's portals in that. There's little entrances in the wavelength of that. But when he says white noise, even when you listen to a fan, if you listen to a fan in a quiet room, especially in a dark, quiet room, you can, if you really, people go clip this. I don't care because I know what I'm talking about. You can tune in and hear like different conversations. Like how I can hear your children in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I have actually had the experience with other people where we could hear children like talking and playing just from listening to a rhythm or a whirring or some white noise. So with that said, you talk about the ghost hunting and the telepathy. And yes, it all goes back to, electromagnetism, AKA light, right? But isn't that still us interacting with these forces? Isn't that still, and I get it, you're saying not intervening.
Right. That's the distinction. It's the intervention.
But God is, in deism, God doesn't at all interact or intervene. God is just outside of the natural creation, right? So I'm sorry that I keep coming back to
because in the understanding that, like I said, to personify it, to make it easier to understand, the photon itself would be the angel of God, because charge itself would be God, and the photon
Okay.
wields the electromagnetic force and fashioned reality. Put the atoms together, put the molecules together, fashioned everything together to create everything that exists. So by us touching matter is us interacting with, but that isn't intervention. This microphone is not going to intervene in anything that's going on right now, but it exists, and it is 100% made of the electromagnetic force. It is fashioned together by atoms and molecules. But as far as intervening, dear photon, please give us some food. It's not going to happen.
Well, we may not be able to say, dear photon, give us food, but photons do give light. There is light coming
because that's a
from
part of
photon.
Right, and that's a part of the grand design of everything. Everything is already designed perfectly. It's the whole reason that we can eat fruit and not die, because that's a part of the design.
Okay.
Like everything is perfectly fashioned. Everything we need is here. There is no need to intervene because it's already been put in place.
Right. Thank
Spirit,
you.
rapping
Wow.
language, identified.
I like what
you guys.
Yeah. Well, rapping is actually something which is very phenomenal. If you look at, because you were talking about, that's what I want to touch on. Thank you for this comment, Drathia. So, there is a paradigm. I don't even like to say shift. It is a spiraling up, that it's like a wave that comes, just like when you see in anything, in sound and light, we have waves, and even if you look at bigger than not just looking about light and sound, the ocean, we have waves, things that come in waves. We look in, everything comes in waves, anything you can think of. And with this particular spiritual awakening during the 1800s, the Gilded Age, there was this similar influx of like teachings and then a spiraling up of a paradigm, like a culmination of information and spiritual awakening. It just came to like a head, and then it just all of a sudden it just collapsed again because it's taken over by, I believe, the industrial age. But what I'm trying to say is during the 1800s, it was called spirit rapping. And it wasn't rapping like talking like they do now, but isn't that interesting that we have from the 1800s up to like the 1900 70s, 80s, the rap came out, and it's also very spiritual. So not to get into actual hip hop rap so much, but spirit rapping was in the 1800s, and they were doing all kinds of seances and talking through what do you call it, mediumship, and doing picnics in the graveyards. Really just so much about the metaphysical. All right. So and the so-called supernatural. I agree with you about supernatural, but they call it supernatural. What I'm saying is, when you said now there's this, and correct me on what you said there's something happening where we're becoming more in tune, more awake, more balanced with spirit and science, understanding that they shouldn't be separated. Science and the metaphysical and the natural science, they're coming together again. We actually have at the University of Virginia a perceptual studies, a department of perceptual studies. They're studying all of that: telekinesis, mental telepathy, out-of-body experiences, in near-death experiences, everything. They're studying it all. So what I want to go back to you. Thank you for letting me take you all the way around and back. Do you agree that this isn't new?
Why is there so
But it's like, what's let me ask you this way. This isn't new with us seeing, oh, it belongs together. It got separated when it collapsed into the industrial uh, era. And now it's like, no, 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 no. We can't separate science and the spiritual. We need to bring it together and look at it. So what's going to work differently for us now? What if we collapse back into this whole technological age and say, oh, we thought that they were supposed to go together, but let's just let AI and technology handle it all. Like
there's a fine line between a reliance on it and using it as a tool. So like the archaic meaning of the word science is just knowledge. Like the technology is the product of science. It's the product of knowledge. So obtaining knowledge of something is a science. That's what science is. It's more than just the observation of the natural world. It's us taking the natural world and attempting to manipulate it. And I think we may be the only beings that we know of, unless there's extraterrestrials, on which I don't doubt, that can also manipulate matter the way that we do. But absolutely, this merger would, for how I would word it, would be just going back to the archaic meaning of the word science, of understanding that science is just knowledge, and it isn't. You can't separate science and then give it its own definition to say that it's this when it's just knowledge, where this other thing now is no longer knowledge. It just doesn't make, it doesn't make sense. You have to have let me just use an example, like a spiritual healer. A spiritual healer is a person that has an understanding of botany to know which herbs and all of this stuff to put together to fashion an elixir, if you will, that you would drink. Now, in modern times, we would call that elixir a tea, an herbal tea. But if you was to go to if right now, hypothetically, we was to go to the jungle somewhere and there was a dude with a bone in his nose and a snake bites you and they like, oh, we're going to take you to the doctor and he going to give you some medicine, and they take you to a shack and he got chickens hanging from the roof and all of that. People like, he doing witchcraft. All he's going to do is make you an herbal tea. So I think we have put boundaries and separations in knowledge based on our own understandings and perception of things. Like religion has become a barrier to saying science is witchcraft, because I've seen arguments that people make in this debate world, like the word pharmaceutical means witchcraft, and medicine heals you. My sister-in-law and her husband are in the Hebrew Israelites, and she would talk about alchemy and stuff is witchcraft. I'm like, have you ever baked a cake before? If you baked a cake from scratch, you've done alchemy. So is your cake evil now? I just think that when it comes to science and technology and all of that, we just need to understand that they are one and the same thing. And this indoctrination of religion has made us see it as some type of obstacle against God. Because as I mentioned in my presentation, that science has a reputation for making God into a myth, for destroying God. Zeus and with lightning and all of that, meteorology got rid of that. The Zeus and Poseidon and Vulcan and the volcanoes, the Boreas and the wind blowing, and like all of those were attributed to gods. Everything that earthquakes was attributed to making the gods angry, and as technology and everything progressed, we now know that those are natural events. So I just think that this separation between science and the spiritual world is due to that religious indoctrination that's telling people that it's different. Even with, like, what was your boy named Galileo saying that the earth isn't the center of Galileo, one of them guys.
Geocentric.
Yeah.
He said the earth
It's
is.
not the center. It's not the center of
I
the
mean,
universe.
said that it's not a geocentric universe.
Yeah. And he introduced the heliocentric. Right.
Sun.
And right. And they were blasphemy, heresy. They was ready. He said, and I think that's just all it is.
You think it's just a bunch of people who are afraid, like when they did the witch hunts?
Right. I think people are just afraid that the reputation that science has of destroying God, for lack of a better phrase, is where we're at. But,
and now science is embracing things that they were afraid to. Some of the scientists are now being brave enough to say, hey, let's study the metaphysical. Let's study what we've been calling pseudo, because there's too many anecdotal accounts of groups of people that are not connected, but they're saying the same things and they're seeing the same things. Like, some people are in one part of the world saying, hey, I saw this person or this thing. It came in this type of vehicle, and it came to me and it looked this way in China, right? And then we have somebody in Canada saying, hey, and people who aren't connected to, like, children are doing these things, saying, oh, in the University of Virginia, they're studying children with past life, like reincarnation. Mm-hmm. Little babies, 2 years old, saying, I was there and I owned a house and it's on the beach, and they're being very specific. They're going to check these things out and finding out the adults who live there, everything that baby is saying is what that adult who lived there did or said. So science is studying this now. They're not afraid of it anymore. But religion, especially Abrahamic faith, they're dragging behind. They want to hold you back. Like, don't believe that. Alchemy is evil. Great thing to say about the cake too. Like, I mean, during the witch hunts in the I think it's the 1500s here. I know it's the late 1500s in Europe. I'm not completely sure. It might be the 1500s here, but anyway, during the witch hunts, a woman, like you said, even could say, come on over here, I have some mullein in my garden. I'm gonna brew it up and inhale some of this eucalyptus steam. You start coughing and say, oh, she possessed me with the spirit. And then you start spitting up all this mucus. And then they're like, oh, God, she made him do this. And then she ends up, unalive.
Burning at the stake. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but science is no. Which one do you think is more powerful? Science or religion? When it
I have
people.
Okay, because I was gonna say I have a cliche that I say all the time. I always say that faith is a hell of a drug. But there is such a thing as this called scientism, where there are people that they treat science somewhat as a religion, that they'll never question what science says. What science says is always right. And
that's scientism.
Right. So I really couldn't say which one is more or less powerful when they're both having an equal effect, because there are people that look at science as a religion, but they'll say it's not but they'll say, I'm not a religion. And I'm not talking about Scientology. I'm talking about scientism, to where people will say, we know this, we know, even though science doesn't speak in absolutes, they'll say, we know that the sun is made out of blah, 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 blah. We've never touched the sun. We've never taken a sample of the sun. All we've done is
no, you're wrong. You're wrong about that, though, Timotheus.
Oh, they've taken a sample of the sun?
We have a sister in this community who says she lives in the center of the sun. And she will debate you. I'm just kidding. Of course they haven't, but I'm not going to say her name because act like I'm talking about her. But she says she lives in the sun.
You're not saying her name is being messy. No, I'm just that's a
No, being
that's,
messy.
no
Being
no
messy will be
that's
saying her name.
it's an inside joke for the people that are in
Oh,
the comments that know what I'm talking about.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, inside jokes. I like them. This subject is amazing. Thank you, Durante Jackson. He says this subject is amazing. We're going to do more of this. I don't want this to be the only time, of course, you come in. I want to say thank you to Ivory for introducing me to you, and we will bring you back soon. I want you to go ahead and just, do a closeout, and we can wrap this up and share this video, everybody. And we do need more conversations like this. I love it. I love these kind of conversations. The pseudo killers are somewhere lurking around watching. They're going to come in. You got to be careful because they try to come in and be bullies.
I'm familiar with Ankh West. I'm familiar with Ankh.
Are you? Ankh must really have a field day with you.
Well, Ankh and I have very interesting conversations because much like how you were today, he's like, I'm with you until you say there's a creator. Like once you said the creator, it's like, oh man, well, why you gotta put that right there, man? Why you gotta put everything you all said was on point until you put that right there? Like, and I'm just like, hey, that's just what I believe, and that's just what it is. It's my belief. It's not me saying that it's right. It's not me saying that you're wrong. It's just what I choose to do personally.
Yes.
And that's just what it is. And it's okay that he doesn't believe that something creates. And for all we know, down the line somewhere, science could trace back whatever is the source of charge, and charge could be a part of the natural world. And I'll still say, well, hey, cool, charge is a part of the natural world.
Well, oh my gosh. Okay, let me do this next time. Because when you're like, charge isn't something phenomenal.
I
know we're about to close up.
Charge, but the thing about it is that if not for this intrinsic charge, because they don't know where charge comes from, and these three fundamental particles.
Go ahead. We don't know where charge comes from with what? With what?
These three fundamental particles, the quartz, the
fermions, really, right?
Right. The quark, the photon, and I forget what's the other one, some type of boson. I'm sorry if it escapes my
Are you saying the Higgs boson, the particle?
Right.
That's the boson.
Right. The three fundamental, these three particles, the charge between these particles is what mediates the strong force, the weak nuclear force, and the electromagnetic force. Right. The only fundamental force that doesn't have a particle is there is no graviton, or it hasn't been discovered yet. So, I kind of throw gravity up in the air as a fundamental force because it hasn't been substantiated by a particle. But each one of those individual particles have an intrinsic charge that science, when I say science doesn't know where this charge comes from. They say it's just intrinsic, they just have it. We don't know why, we don't know where it comes from. But
I see what you're saying.
Right, but these charges create interactions between these particles to where there's a push and a pull, there's an attraction, and this charge, this force is what then comes together and fashions reality.
So when I say it's not phenomenal, when you break that down, no pun intended, there we understand. That's why I was mentioning at first the Higgs field. Now we're talking about matter, and that's what we are. When I say the interaction where photons don't interact in the Higgs boson field, but when you went into talking about bosons, fermions, because you mentioned quarks, right?
Quarks. Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're getting a little messy, in my opinion. I'm not a physicist. I'm not a physicist either.
Right.
But I do know that we are all over the place. What we should do is come back and just do basic. I think I'll do that if I have time tomorrow. Just do a basic stream on just elementary level on what subatomic particles are. Just go into the atom, talk about protons, talk about neutrons, then we talk about electrons and go into quarks. Yes, this is where I was kind of like, when you start talking about we don't know what the charge is, we understand what causes the charge, but you're saying the actual force or not force, what produces the charge. Why don't we just do this now? Let me just get something, because I don't like
yeah,
go ahead.
because what I'm expressing is that what physics understands is that these particles have charge, whether it's blue charge, red charge, electric charge, or whatever. What they just say that the charge is intrinsic, that they just have it. We don't know, they just have it. We don't know what where, if something put the charge in it. We just know that they have charge, and the effects of charge is what we see, which becomes the fundamental forces. The effects that the fundamental forces are the effects of the charge. The positive and the negative create a attraction repulsion. We see the effects of the charge, but the charge, so far, the scientific community of physics would say that it's intrinsic. It's just a part of the particle. But me, from my philosophical standpoint, as you said, is me saying whatever the charge is, that's as close to an understanding of God that people could have to personify. That's, like I was saying in my presentation, I'm personifying these things just so we can understand them.
Okay, so let's just do this basic, and I appreciate. So I want to just bring up something very simplified for me too, for all of us, just to let people see an idea of what you brought up when you brought up let me just get it. When you brought up quarks, and we're talking about bosons, and so these are fermions, okay? And this is basic. This is just to have something at the end of this where people can say, well, what is all this? And yes, I'm on Wikipedia, everyone. This is so basic information. It's not like someone's opinion. If someone's like, she used Wikipedia, it's not an opinion. It's the scientific facts, and this is what I want to use, okay? So this is just the basics of what we just were discussing. Let me enlarge this. When you were calling out those different this isn't what he's talking about with the whole, correct me if I'm wrong, the thing about the photons. These are actually right. These are actually,
photons don't have a charge.
These are actually material. These are subatomic particles when we talk about matter. Right? Okay. Let's see if I'm wrong or if I'm right. In particle physics, a fermion is a subatomic particle that follows Fermi-Dirac statistics. Fermions have a half integer spin half, spin three halves, etc. And they obey Pauli exclusion principle. Or if you want to say Pauli, you go for it. Pauli exclusion principle. These particles include all quarks, that's what we mentioned just now, leptons, and all composite particles made up of an odd number of these, such as all baryons and many atoms and nuclei. Fermions differ from bosons, which obey Bose-Einstein statistics. Some fermions are elementary particles. We're talking about material with this, not light. Correct?
Material.
We're talking about material. Okay, such as electrons. Some are composite particles, such as protons. Not photons, y'all, protons. Still talking about matter. For example, according to the spin statistic theorem in relativistic quantum field theory, particles with integer spin are bosons. In contrast, particles with half integer spins are fermions. Okay, so, people, okay, so this is where it says, yeah, right here, boson, when you see here, fermions form one of the And I'm not a physicist. That's why I needed to get some of this information in here. Anybody wants to come in, correct us, join the conversation. This is why I'm bringing this up. Fermions form one of the two fundamental classes of subatomic particles, the other being bosons. This is where I'm confused. So you can help me with this. So when we look at this, right, and we talk about material, we've got fermions, baryons, with protons, neutrons, etc., and then fermions, leptons, electrons, neutrinos, and then fermions overlap with, these are all made up of quarks. Mm-hmm. So are you saying that photons aren't made up of quarks, or they are? I don't remember if you said that.
No, I'm saying that.
I mean, I don't know.
Because according to the physics that I read, photons are immaterial. They aren't material.
Yeah, but when we talk about fermions, this might be even
right.
more.
And these what is seeming like, because I'm just like you, I am not a physicist.
Here it is. Not to interrupt you. It says the elementary fermions. The standard model recognizes two types of elementary fermions. So quarks are fermions and leptons. So in all, the model distinguishes 24 different fermions. There are 6 quarks, up, down. So I know that part, because they're the ones that you're talking about with color. But go ahead. I wanna see for my learning. Okay, are photons? Did you say they do consist of quarks?
No, they're from my studies, and again, I'm not saying that I know everything, and I am a student of it too. But photons are pure energy. They are a particle of energy. They exist in both particle form and wave form. They're the only ones that have two properties and characteristics to where they exist both as a wave and as a particle. So and the reason they have no charge is because through the photon, the electromagnetic force is wielded. So photons, like I said, I always use my hands to like personify. Photons take the electromagnetic force and fashion reality. I'm gonna stick these things together and stick these things together and stick these things together, and I'm gonna fashion this molecule, this atom, and then I'm gonna take this atom and force these things together. Boom! Now I have a molecule, and I'm gonna gather a bunch of these molecules together, and now with using plasma heat and all that, now we have nuclear fission, and we're gonna make heavier elements with. So yeah.
So a boson. So that's why we have the you know, I used to watch these experiments with the hadron colliders and other stuff that they were doing with CERN, and there was something they were doing with neutrinos, and then I started calling my channel neutrino, where I think that's what the photons, when we talk about fermions, photons are related to neutrinos, not quarks. So and is a neutrino, I think a neutrino is a fermion. I'm not sure. We have to have more discussion.
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar as well.
Bosons are fermions, right? Are they, y'all? Anybody? We need to get somebody who knows a little bit more about this, or we could study it. Bosons and fermions are two distinct classes of particles. So bosons are not fermions. They're just a part of the light. But neutrinos are fermions that are part of photons. Have you ever heard of those? Y'all, I'm sorry, brother, if I ended your thing with like all these confusing.
No, I am a student. You speaking my language right now because I'm a student of this myself. So I'm leaning up like this so my bifocals can read the screen.
You know, go ahead, because bosons are distinctive from fermions, or they're not. Yes, let me look at it. I'm going to bring something else up, because I thought I knew a little bit about it, but then if you don't keep studying it, you forget it. Well, I do.
Yeah,
I forgot about
I'm
it.
with
I
you.
don't know.
I'm with you.
So let's look at this real quick. Oh, here, this is good. This is good. I see something. So this is this Wikipedia? What is this? No. Okay, let's take a look at this particular. Is this a credible source? Okay, let me get it. Let me bring this up. Bear with me. I need to know. I'm feeling a little confused up here right now, y'all. I don't want to be confused, and I don't want to confuse people. Okay, so let's see here. Again, this is basic information. It doesn't have this isn't someone's opinion. Bosons versus fermions. What's the difference? Bosons and fermions are two fundamental types of particles in quantum mechanics. The main difference between them lies in their behavior under the Pauli exclusion. Now, we know this part, right? Principle. Bosons, so this is where they're talking about the spin, right? Bosons such as photons and gluons. So there we go. So bosons are related to photons and gluons. They are. Photons are bosons and gluons, correct? Because it says bosons such as photons and gluons
such as would suggest that that they fall within the category.
Okay.
So it almost seems like and this is just, it seems like a taxidermy for for quantum particles.
Yeah, I need to get this straightened out. They have integer spin
so
value.
The difference is, from what I'm looking at, and I just did this is just Google, the same thing. It says the fermions are the matter and the bosons are the force.
Okay, there you go, because that is a part of the Higgs boson field. It's the force, but it's not. So you know what? We have to do a whole show about this because I have to study this. I'm really feeling like bosons are particles that obey the Bose-Einstein statistic, named after the Indian physicist Satyendra Nath Bose and the renowned physicist Albert Einstein. One of the key attributes of bosons is that they have integer spin values such as 0, 1, 2, and so on. This means that bosons are characterized by their ability to occupy. You guys can't see me sharing this, can you?
No.
Damn, I'm reading it. Hold on. I want you to see it. Okay. This is what I'm reading. So, they have integer spin values such as 0, 1, 2, and so on. This means that bosons are characterized by their ability to occupy the same quantum state simultaneously, leading to phenomena like Bose-Einstein condensation. Another important characteristic of bosons is their tendency to exhibit attractive forces. For example, photons, which are bosons, okay, so
electromagnetic force. Yeah.
Now I can confirm that. We got that. Photons, which are bosons, mediate the electromagnetic force, like you said in your presentation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. You did say that, right? You didn't say bosons, but
no, I said
you talked about photons.
Photons, yeah. Photons, which are bosons.
Okay.
It's the same sentence. Yeah.
Okay. So allowing for the attraction between charged particles. Additionally, bosons are known to carry energy and momentum, making them crucial in the study of particle interaction
and the fundamental
forces of nature. There's that interaction, though. I don't know. That's kind of the deist. I think you're going to be looking a little deeper into that.
But interaction and intervention are different.
Well, okay. Boson, but I like that. I like that I was feeling a little bit out there, like on the tightrope, like wobbly. But because again, we're not physicists, but we are finding this information out and studying it on a basic level so we can be able to have these conversations intelligently and responsibly. So people we're just not out here just, flying by the seat of our chair. Bosons also play a significant role in the formation of composite particles. For instance, protons and neutrons, which are made up of quarks. There it is. Okay, those are the fermions, right? So For instance, protons and neutrons, which are made up of quarks, are held together by the exchange of gluons, which are also bosons. Oh my gosh. So there's
Which
that
is,
force.
there are some scientists that say that they have unified the nuclear weak force and the electromagnetic force. So that's them being bosons puts them in the category with photons, which use the electromagnetic force to create the attraction that binds them together.
Which is the exchange of gluons.
Right.
Now, I thought the exchange of gluons happens between quarks, but let me keep reading. The exchange of bosons between quarks. There it is. The exchange. This is that's why I was getting a little confused because it's very we have to. I have to study more and stay on it because
no, I'm with you, but because what this is doing is just it's breaking the particle down into something smaller. So if we were to communicate this as I did in my presentation in terms that we all understand, instead of saying bosons and protons and neutrons, we're all familiar with protons, neutrons, and electrons, which is kind of in the same realm, because as it says, for instance, photons and neutrons, which are made of quartz. So neutrons are quartz.
You mean protons, and you said photons, and you mean
protons. I'm sorry. Yeah, these work sometimes these don't work. Yeah, so protons and neutrons, which are both made of quartz, but they have electrons orbiting them.
Yes.
So that's right. So everything charged is involved in the attraction and repulsion of everything. So the weak nuclear force holds this nucleus together, which is the protons and neutrons. When the neutrons have a neutral charge, they don't have a charge, and the electron orbits them, which is where we get atoms from.
Well, the atom, it's the subatomic part of the atom. So this exchange of bosons between quarks allows for the strong nuclear force, which binds atomic nuclei together, what you just kind of said. You elaborated on that. Furthermore, bosons are not subject to the Pauli exclusion principle, which states that no two identical fermions can occupy. So bosons aren't subject to this because they can. So this is where it's relating more to what you were saying about light and its uniqueness and exclusivity as far as being God, like a part of the angel that wields the charge.
Right, that wields the force.
Right. So which states that no two identical fermion can occupy the same quantum state simultaneously. Bosons aren't subject to that because they don't have to worry about that, basically, that rule, this principle, I should say. This property allows for the formation of bosonic condensates, which are large number of bosons where a large number of bosons occupy the same lowest energy state. This leads to fascinating phenomena like superfluidity and superconductivity. That's interesting. This is where we're looking at more about your presentation related to light and the force, right? That's the boson. That's the force, right? Or no?
No, the boson mediates the force. It is the wielder of the force.
So this goes back into the Higgs boson field, but we're talking about matter. Let me not jump the gun. Let me finish this. In summary, bosons possess integer spin values, exhibit attractive forces, carry energy and momentum, play a role in composite particle formation, and are not subject to the Pauli exclusion principle. Fermions, on the other hand, follow Fermi direct statistics, named after the Italian physicist Enrico Fermi and physicist Paul Dirac. Unlike bosons, fermions have a half integer spin value, such as a half, 3 halves, 5 halves, and so on. This characteristic leads to Pauli exclusion principle, which states that no two identical fermions can occupy the same quantum state simultaneously, unlike the bosons, which can. Right? We read that. The Pauli exclusion principle has profound implications for the behavior of fermions. It gives rise to electron configuration in atoms, determining the arrangement of electrons in different energy levels and orbitals. This principle is also responsible for the stability of matter, as it prevents fermions from collapsing in a single quantum state. Now, so what I understand, and this is where I got confused, and I have to sharpen up. Quarks are fermions, right? And they have the half integer spin value, correct?
Yes, that's what you just read.
Now, the force that you're talking about, though, because didn't we see that when we talk about going back to this part, bosons also play a significant role in the formation of composite particles, right? For instance, now we're going to protons and neutrons, which are made up of quarks. They're held together by the exchange of gluons, which are also bosons. See, that's where, so that exchange of gluons, which are bosons, in quarks, which are material, it's the energy, they exist in protons, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not too confusing. I can.
You said it. What exists? You said what exists in the photons?
So,
or you say protons or photons?
In the protons and the neutrons,
okay.
In the atom. Okay, the one that the electrons going around it, right? So in the proton, there's quarks. Okay, those quarks are held together by the exchange of gluons. Is that the energy or the force that you're talking about?
The exchange comes from their charge. Their positive and negative charge creates the attraction. That creates the force.
And there's a color in that, right, with the quarks.
Right.
Okay, so it said it's held together by the exchange of gluons, which are bosons.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm like, so the boson is. Say it again, what you said. I'm sorry.
The mediator of the force.
The mediator of the force. So that is the like
because the positive and negative charge is what creates the attraction, and the force is, and the force is mediated by the boson.
Okay. And this exchange of bosons between the quarks, which are gluons. So there you go. The exchange between the quarks. The exchange of the gluons are bosons. This exchange of these bosons between the quarks allows for strong nuclear force, which binds atomic nuclei together. Oh, that sounds so simple. If I really I needed to walk myself down like a little 1-year-old. So this is what you are talking about. If we just stay in that material, excuse me. So bear with me, everybody. Let me stop sharing this. So now I think I got it. Okay. Thank you for having patience with me, brother.
Not a problem. So, thank you for having me on.
Here, as material, right? In our atoms, there is the exchange of bosons in the quark, the gluons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is say it again, the mediator.
The mediator, the bosons are the mediators of the force itself.
And that's the strong force that holds everything together.
Mm-hmm.
And is that God?
The positive and the negative charge. Somebody will say it's God.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Someone will say it's God. I wouldn't say it's God. I would say it's God-like, that people would personify it as God. But
no, but because bosons are related to photons, and
right?
They're related to light.
Right. And in my presentation, God is charge is where I originally started. For me as a deist, God is charge because the charge is responsible for everything else. But because without the charge, you don't get the interaction, and the interaction then is mediated by by the photon. So the photon would be personified as God, because the photon or the boson is the particle that's wielding all of this, is putting all of this in motion. The boson is the one that's, okay, let me put this together right here, let me slap this together right here, and then okay, boom, there we go. That's the simple atom, the simplest atom. Boom.
Oh my gosh, look what I found out. I'm such a knucklehead. I think I knew it. I read this before and I don't. So look, are bosons related to light? Duh. Bosons are related to light, the photon, which is a type of boson. Come on, we learned this today.
Yeah, the fundamental particle, yeah. And carries, mediates, it carries the electromagnetic force.
So a boson is, the coconut just dropped on both of our heads. The boson is the photon that you're talking about. It's a type of,
right. That's why I don't know if you heard me. I don't know if you heard me earlier, but I was saying it that list of the fermions and all, it just looks like a type of taxidermy for particles.
So now but now this is a beautiful part. We know that is why they say the God particle with when they talk about the boson interacting. Coconuts are just dropping on my head, bro. It interacts in the Higgs field, which is scientists are saying it's like a soup or whatever. Well, when I say soup, it's like not like the primordial soup.
Okay,
it's like it's like in the universe, this stuff that the boson is going through, and it is the basis. It's supposed to be the fundamental basis of material, of us, of everything around us, right? So
the boson the boson is the immaterial particle that mediates the force that binds the material.
There you go. Let me drop a bomb.
It binds the protons and the neutrons.
Bro, don't say anything else. I gotta drop this bomb for you. There we go, right there. Boom. Okay, I know y'all are like, dang, what are they up there doing? We got it. Duh. So, because I was so all over the place, and now we got it. But
so now let me ask you a question. Now that we've had this revelation, let me ask you a question. Now that we have this revelation, what does this force gain by taking its time to intervene with anything else? To intervene with the reactions of the complex beings that have been fashioned from these atoms. So that's where the deism part comes in. It's like, hey, I did my job. You exist, bro. So do what you're gonna do.
You're not letting us do our victory lap enough. You want to bring it back to your deism. Hold on. We figured, look, I know that I've talked about this many times. I will be the first to, and you too, you study this. But when there's so much complex information, and you'll be like how we're on this, we won't forget it if we keep studying it.
Right.
But when you stop studying it, you like, I don't remember this and that. So I got to get back on it, start studying it, and stay on it. You're doing great. We're gonna next time.
I'm right with you. I need to study more and more too.
Yeah, let's study it. Let's all.
I'm gonna be a student of it forever.
I love it, and you know what? Because it's gonna be always a topic to study. And I want to say this. This is I'm gonna put this proposition out here. How about you go do some more research on the Higgs field and the boson, and when we bring you back, I will also do some brushing up on it, and we'll come back and hear you relate that to further, because you're already talking about light and the photon. Relate that even more more in-depthly and specifically about God and the Higgs field, because it talks more about how we exist, right? Who we are, what we are as matter. So how about when we bring you back, we have you tell us what you found out, or talk about some research on that. Would that be good or no?
Yeah, I'm interested in looking up the Higgs field. It's it's a little more intricate into the philosophy that I have. It makes me feel some type of way now because the saying philosophy is like now making me feel like I have a religion.
No, philosophy is a type of science. It's a people will argue that it's not religion. You can't be. That's the thing. Listen, I'm gonna shake you out of that.
Well,
You lead into
simply because like when I think philosophy, because a particular way of life is a philosophy, and
it has to
religion,
be.
right? And religion
You
fall
can't do
into
anything but it.
fashion way of life.
Listen, let me say this. What I told you. Philosophers are working hand in hand with astrophysicists. We have our brother in science, Neil deGrasse Tyson, the great Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is an atheist. He sits down with everybody. He sits down with philosophers all the time. It's not about agreeing. See, that's the thing you mentioned. The difference is scientists and philosophers don't sit down to debate. They sit down to see, they put everything on the table and hash things out and say, let's find out more about what our world is about. And you can't leave out philosophy because what was the thing I showed? I was talking to an atheist. I was debating an atheist, and I said, "Oh man, I can't remember the study. It's a hypothesis of a woman who lives in a black and white world. She knows everything about the color red. She knows absolutely everything about how the eye sees it, she studied it all her life, but she's never ever seen the color red. Okay? So she's the science. That's a science. It's very important, right? Like she knows anything you ask her, she knows about the color red, but she's never seen it. She's not balanced because she didn't see it, but one day she sees a red rose. Now she's balanced because the philosophical side of, even though you know all the science about it, you know all the natural information and the facts, we have to go deeper in how does the color red affect you, right? And that is a part of you. I'm gonna hand the mic over to you and let you have your closeout. But like you, as a person who's very scientific, and you're not leaving, you're like, no, this religion isn't that. It's not this. I have to do better. And then you start looking into science, how it relates to your concept of God. So there's your philosophical side. So I'm going to let you respond to that, and thank you so much for coming in. But yeah, don't start saying you feel like a religious person by saying philosophy. You can be a philosopher and a scientist.
Right.
So go ahead and close out. So much in here.
Right. And to like with what you said, is more of the science just so happens to be something that substantiates or gives credence to the concept of my interpretation of deism, because not all deists are the same. And yeah, I have it up over here on this other monitor. I'm just looking up into the Higgs field, and the Higgs boson, and it's the Higgs boson could be / Higgs boson / photon, because the photon is a boson. So it seems like they're very intertwined. So it's going to be an interesting read. And but I just want to thank you for having me on. Nepal, make sure I say your name right.
Nepal Shada.
No.
Let me put you on the big screen so you can go ahead and
I don't do that.
No, you look great. Come on, bro. Come on. We all do that though? Oh, I said you look great. You know what's gonna happen? You go, oh, sa.neter. Nepal was flirting with the brother. She said he looked great.
Oh yeah, no.
No, you're great.
For the record, with that joke that she made, I'm married 16 years. Me and her been rocking.
No, I'm not married too, bro.
Yeah,
I'm just joking.
I'm
saying you're not. You can be on the big screen, but if you don't want to,
no, I'm just teasing. I'm a dry joke. I have an extremely
you have a dry sense of humor.
A very dry sense.
You know what that's called? You know what that's called? You must be really good at doing deadpan when you can make a joke and just have a straight face and just be like, no. Never mind. Forget it. Go ahead. They said, some people in the audience really like following you, by the way. Step into the light. I think this is a sister that I met. If it is, if not, peace to whoever this is. Tim has such a way of explaining this topic. A lot of people are here watching you. Bantu, I'm sorry if I messed your name. Bena Congo. He says, great show, y'all. Shout out to Team Naga.
Team Naga. God is light, light is electromagnetism. Again, it is.
She said you're shy. Well, he doesn't seem shy when he's coming in here trying to talk about deism and light. He was busting some, even though he didn't want to bust them pinatas. Some people, you made some people upset. I'm counting on my brother Cedric to
and
come
I didn't see any of the comments to know what pinatas I bust or anything. I've learned to not read comments. Yeah, I've learned to not read comments because comments can lead to toxicity.
Don't read comments while you're doing the show. I'm only showing you the good stuff. Nobody was in here being toxic because it was a great presentation. It's late, but it's great. So next time, I know you're going to do great with the Higgs boson study stuff, and come back and tell us more about.
And I want to see how it relates to because my mind's already made up. You know what I mean? I'm kind of rigid, but I'm still going to be open to what I'm going to find when studying the Higgs. And it's like,
let me read this. I put it up on the screen, so I just got to read it. Asiatic says, you can use a piece of data without fully knowing what that piece of data is about, as long as it suits its purpose, and that is pseudo hypothesis. Well, you know what? You keep on learning. So he's doing the research on it. That's the difference. He's not just up here saying, and this is what it is, and I don't have to study it anymore.
Well,
that's what I appreciate.
And when it's the term hypothesis is what kind of struck me in that pseudo hypothesis. I don't have a hypothesis. My hypothesis is not that God is charged. God is charged is my belief. It is not my hypothesis that I'm going to study this and I'm going to find and discover God. That is not my position at all. My position is that it's kind of God of the gaps, but it's not God of the gaps, because if it turns out to not be God, as we understand God as a deity and all that, that's cool. It's just how reality works. But it doesn't change that nature and reality still doesn't have a direct intervention in the world that we live in. Its intervention is creation. It is us. It's everything that we do. That's where it intervenes. It intervenes by allowing us to eat fruit so we can live. What is this?
See, I got your jokes now, Timotheus. I got you now. The joke is eat the fruit, Garden of Eden. I got you now.
Oh no, right? you went deeper than I. You would
come on, just roll with it.
Yeah. What she said, yeah.
How'd you know? All right, so thank you so much. This is great. I like this interaction too. I didn't want to give him too much pushback because, like he said, it's his philosophy. But when he I'm gonna bring why don't I get my electromagnetic electromagnetism show that I did and let you look at it from a actual Abrahamic faith perspective. I was talking about the ark when they touched it, how it was it affected them because of the radiation. Actually, the electromagnetism / radiation, whatever.
How Aaron was probably killed by an electromagnetic device. That type of
Aaron, you mean his sons?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, that part, right? Yes. So Curtis Penn says, I pray y'all do more shows like this one. The best I've seen in a very long time. Bless you. Thank you. No toxic arguing. Oh, wait, hold on. Much educated convo. Thank you both. We love you, Aaron. We love you, Curtis Penn. But let me tell you something, my friend. This is the toughest environment. And sometimes it gets a little hot in here. Obviously, he knows this. See, that's good. Some people, we have Timotheus. Some people, like our brother Curtis, want to come in and just see Timotheus. And some people want to see Napashada take her baton and whap Yara across his pinata. What am I talking about? Well, let me explain. We will be doing a debate. What is the debate going to be? Is there grape in the Bible? Does the Bible mitigate for or make concession for a grape? But before that, y'all, we have the great titans of all titans, Professor Jabari versus Dr. Inky. And what will they be debating? Is Christ literal? Is Christ historical? And is Christ the Word of God? This debate is coming up on November 28th. It's right around the corner. My debate with Yara is on the 27th of December. Y'all get your tickets for every one of these debates. Here's another one. Let me take down Curtis's comment, my friend Curtis. For this one, we have Professor Jabari Osaze again. He's gonna be doing a lot of work. He's going to be debating Inky, and then he's also going to be debating our brother. Actually, before he debates Inky, I'm sorry, on November 17th, get your tickets. If you have mods in the chat, please drop the link. If not, I will have the link. Oh, I will beat him. Don't worry, my friend. He's already beat. But thank you. The link should be in the description. Tahuti versus Professor Jabari Osaze. They're going to debate. Actually, they're going to do a sit down and figure out what they're going to debate, but it's coming up. It's coming up. It's coming up. One more, if you don't mind. I just want to get these out, my brother. Timotheus, what do we have coming up tomorrow? Tomorrow, don't miss this. It's on the House of Consciousness channel. We have Ron Dalton coming in, challenging the Israelite leaders again. He's saying, who and where are the real Canaanites? Hebrews to Negroes creator and the originator of that particular documentary. He's saying that the leaders of the camps are running from him. ISUPK is led by the one and only General Yohana. However, Captain Tazariak is one of the leaders. He's one of the soldiers, the captains in that particular group, and he's very, very well known. So that's why Ron Dalton had the nerve to put Captain Tazariak on here. He is asking for a real beatdown. I love you, Ron. I can't wait to see you tomorrow and hear what you have to say. So with all that said, we have a lot of what some people aren't interested in, which is debating in here. Let me take that down and let my brother come on in. But this is what we do. We also have people who come in and teach. We are going to have Steve Caballero. You know who he is. He's also an infomonger. He's also an info warrior. Steve Caballero has a similar vibe to you. Now, Steve likes to get in these rings and do some debating, but he also is a great teacher like yourself. So we appreciate you coming in. For some of our audience members who don't really want to see debating, they like to sit back and just hear your science and your philosophy. They like to see.
And I'm not opposed to sitting amongst a panel of individuals and having a conversation, but as far as the whole structured debate thing goes, that's just not my style.
That's not your style, and we appreciate you for that. You know what? We got it all over here at the House of Consciousness. We have teachers who don't debate, but they have excellent, cutting-edge, very intriguing information, like our brother Timotheus. And we have those who like to get in the ring and teach. So thank you so much for being here. I will love to see you come back. Peace to everybody who joined us, especially if you're on the East Coast and you're staying up late. We're here. You can always look at us on the playback. And with that said, this is the House of Consciousness. And thank you so much for being here. Oh, also, don't forget to subscribe. And that's it. Peace to the darkest.
Like, share, and subscribe. Right? Yeah.
Like, share, and subscribe. I want to talk to you. Maybe you know what? I need to do in the background, talk to you about my philosophy on darkness, because I have a saying where I say the darkest minds of the light. We got to get together and talk about this. So anyway, all right.
Darkness is just light you can't see.
Why you want me? There you go. We're going to end it right now. I got to drop that bomb. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to let you see your way out, and I'm going to close out with the song. That was awesome. Wow. I like that. Thank you so much. Real pleasure to meet you.
Neo Love, the toughest environment.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's my boy. Neil's my boy too. So
you want to hear that one? He has another one in here.
No, I'm just make whatever you want to go out with. I
like the one that he
I was just shouting out Neo Love.
Shout out Neo Love for 100%. He is so awesome and talented. I want to find the one that he did with the sister. sa.neter changes the names of the songs.
This one with a sister.
The sister in the beginning. Where he said, no, she goes, no, we don't claim that. I'll find it. If I can't, dang, he's changed so much. Let me see. I'm going to play the toughest environment and look for that one. Peace to you. Peace to everybody. Shout out to the Infomongers. Shout out to Ivory Scales and Info Warriors. We'll see you again soon, brother. Peace.
Time to set the stage with the lights off. Let the little nigga breathe to the fight sloth. You ain't never like the room with the bright sauce. Hail Mary, they despise what the light brought. Let them roach niggas bleed if they can't see. sa.neter TV, what you can't be. They say that murder on my mind, now they can't breathe. Take a picture of the crew, that's your last peep. Oh, and need me or love, yeah, that's just me. Keep them jumping like some frogs, so they might be leave with the sunset. And they don't really want to bleed from the gunplay. And like mine, niggas smoking weed on the one-way street, nigga. Yeah, we see we outside with it. Pull up to debates like we might be with it on guard. Side these niggas like bullshit and they fraud. Let me chop them down with the sword. Walk them down like they live bars. This the toughest you gon' be in, we too hard. And you don't really want that smoke, my G. Who would be sa.neter TV? This the toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. The toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Keep that off your lip before you get flipped. We got sources over here, we don't just spit. Too many bosses over here, y'all just legit. Put them niggas in the game, let them get real. Don't even step unless you come in with that scholarship. That economic tip, gotta make a dollar flip. And I might be next, I don't give a damn, a truth rolling with me, so I'm feeling like the son of man. Too many gon' hate, gotta make a stand. I'm just trying to duck the lake, you don't understand. Read them when I greet them, that's my best plan. Head first shit, I'm just saying. Nigga meet me in LA, oh you just playing. Too many be fake, what the base saying. So I tell them they don't want no smoke before they end up in the newspaper next day. Smoke. This the toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. The toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. And this is it right here. The toughest you gon' ever be in. You wasn't conscious before us. Y'all niggas was asleep. We woke the sleeping giant. We did it. sa.neter TV. So stay on. Yeah, that's what he did. And messed up, like. He saved from up there where y'all at. He saved from New York. Well, upstate.
Upstate New York? Nah, we don't claim that.
Screaming at the top of your lungs don't make you that guy. Try to watch my style and replay it, don't make you fly. Don't take a break, cause the fake like the snake. When the big dog away, all they do is clout chase. When I enter the room, all they do is bout face. Put them lions on my back, then ball with the minister. Side put me on there, everybody wanna mimic you. Yeah, I thought I told you we the toughest here. We be on the scene, niggas screen our shit. We the toughest you done seen, we the big boy clique. If he really want smoke, I pull up with him. Toughest environment, smoke city. I can tell by your energy, you ain't really woke. He showed up to debate, but he choked. No money in his pocket, boy broke. Shit, the only thing he can teach is hope. Kill a spider, drown a fish, stomp a rose, do something. But don't come on sa.neter with the stunt. Everybody over here getting money. Touche hit me up, told me go run it. Guess I'm Carl Lewis. You looking dumb foolish. Nigga way upstate making soft music. Boy, this the toughest environment, show you how to do it. Mr. Toughest environment, show you how to do it. We be on the scene, niggas screen our shit. We the toughest you done seen, we the big boy clique. If he really want smoke, I pull up with it. Toughest environment, smoke city. I can tell by your energy, you ain't really woke. He showed up to debate, but he choked. No money in his pocket, boy broke. Shit, the only thing he can teach is hope. We be on the scene, niggas screen our shit. We the toughest you done seen, we the big boy clique. If he really want smoke, I pull up with it. Toughest environment, smoke city. I can tell by your energy, you ain't really woke. He showed up to debate, but he choked.